This time in your life, your golden years, should be about freedom, joy, and living on your own terms. Yet too often, we let old regrets, fears, and other people's expectations dim our light. We tell ourselves we're too old to change, too set in our ways, or that happiness is for the young. But that's simply not true. In this video, we're going to talk about how to let go of those heavy thoughts, the ones that whisper, "You're not good enough," "It's too late," or "What will people think?" so you can step into a lighter, happier way of living. Because no matter your age, you deserve to feel free, to embrace life fully, and to wake up each day excited for what's ahead. So let's start with something that might be weighing on you more than you realize: the past. Let go of past regrets. You know that feeling when an old memory suddenly pops up, maybe from decades ago, and just like that, your chest tightens? Maybe it's that job you didn't take, the words you wish you'd said to someone who's no longer here, or a choice that didn't turn out the way you'd hoped. We've all been there, carrying these quiet weights without even realizing how much they still shape our days. But here's what I've learned: regrets don't live in the past, they live in us. And the longer we hold on to them, the less room we have for the good things waiting ahead. Think about it. When you were younger, you probably made the best decision you could with what you knew at the time. Life doesn't come with a roadmap, and every single one of us has taken wrong turns, hit dead ends, or stumbled along the way. That's not failure. That's just being human. So what if, instead of letting those old regrets whisper "you should have" in your ear, you thanked them for the wisdom they gave you? That missed opportunity taught you what truly matters to you. That heartbreak showed you how strong you really are. Even the roads not taken led you somewhere meaningful, to the person you are right now. Try this. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself setting down a heavy bag you've been carrying for years. Feel how much lighter your shoulders are without that weight. That's what letting go feels like. It doesn't mean forgetting, it means making peace. Because here's the beautiful truth: your life isn't behind you, it's happening right now. Every morning is a fresh chance to write a new story, one where you're not defined by what happened decades ago, but by how fully you're living today. So take that hobby you always wanted to try. Call that old friend you've been thinking about. Sing off-key in the shower just because it makes you happy. This is your time, not to look back with regret, but to step forward with all the hard-won wisdom only you could have earned. Second, embracing imperfection. How many times have you stopped yourself from trying something new because you thought, "I won't be good at it"? Or maybe you've put off inviting friends over until your home was perfect. We've been taught our whole lives that getting things right matters. But what if we've had it backwards all along? The truth is, life's most beautiful moments often come wrapped in imperfection. That slightly lopsided cake your grandchild made you, more precious than any bakery dessert, the off-key singing at family gatherings, those are the memories that stick with us. When we chase perfection, we miss out on the messy, wonderful reality of being alive. Remember when you were first learning to drive? Those jerky starts and stalls were part of the process. Why should trying anything new at 60, 70, or 80 be any different? The joy isn't in being perfect. It's in the trying, the laughing at mistakes, the simple pleasure of doing. Here's something to try. Next time you catch yourself thinking, "I can't do this perfectly," ask instead, "Could this be fun? Could that painting class be enjoyable even if your trees look more like blobs? Could that new recipe still taste good even if it doesn't look magazine-ready?" The wrinkles on your face? They're proof of 1,000 smiles and moments of deep thought. The projects left unfinished? They show a life rich with interests. What we often call flaws are really just signs of a life fully lived. This week, I invite you to do one thing imperfectly on purpose. Wear the bright shirt even if it's not your color. Join that dance class even if you have 2 left feet. Let yourself be gloriously, wonderfully human, because that's where the real magic happens. Third, breaking free from others' expectations. For so many years, we've lived by invisible rule books: what a good parent should do, how a respectable adult should behave, what proper seniors should like. But here's a secret no one tells you: that rule book, you can close at any time. Remember Mrs. Thompson from down the street? She shocked everyone at 72 when she started wearing bright purple streaks in her hair. At first, people talked, but within months, half her bridge club had colorful hair too. It makes you wonder, how much of what we think we should do is just waiting for someone to go first? The truth is, the only person who gets to decide what's right for you is, well, you. Not your children, not your neighbors, not even that little voice in your head repeating what your parents said 50 years ago. That voice means well, but this is your life to live now. Try this exercise. Next time you're making a decision, pause and ask, is this what I truly want? Or is this what I think others expect? The answers might surprise you. Maybe you've always wanted to travel alone but worried what people would say. Perhaps you'd love to quit that book club you've attended for years but feel obligated to keep going. Here's permission to choose what fills your soul. And to those who might raise eyebrows, let them. People will adjust. What seems unusual at first becomes normal when they see how happy it makes you. Your authenticity gives others permission to be real too. This isn't about being reckless. It's about being intentional. Every no to something that drains you is a yes to something that lights you up. Every time you honor your true self, you reclaim a piece of the freedom you've always deserved. So wear the loud shirt, take the solo trip, learn the ukulele. Let this chapter be the one where you finally stop editing yourself to fit someone else's story. The world doesn't need more people following the script. It needs more people like you, writing their own. Fourth, defying the "it's too late" myth. How many dreams have you postponed because the clock kept ticking? How many times have you thought, if only I'd started sooner? Here's the truth they don't tell you about aging. Time doesn't make things impossible, it makes them different. Take Colonel Sanders, who founded KFC at 65, or Grandma Moses, who began painting in her late 70s, or the 81-year-old yoga instructor at my local studio who says her best years started at retirement. These people didn't have some magical advantage. They simply refused to believe their expiration date had passed. The beauty of starting later? You bring wisdom beginners don't have. That language class you've considered? You'll learn faster because you know how you learn best. That business idea? You've got decades of problem-solving experience to fuel it. Even your failures become assets. You've survived disappointments before and know how to pivot. Try this shift instead of, "I'm too old for this." Ask, what if I tried this just for fun? What's the smallest step I could take today? Who says it has to look a certain way? That neighbor who took up gardening at 70 and now grows prize-winning roses? She didn't aim for perfection. She just planted one seed. The retired teacher who publishes his first novel at 68? He wrote one paragraph at a time. This isn't about denying aging. It's about redefining what aging means. Your knees might creak, but your creativity doesn't. Your eyesight may fade, but your vision grows sharper. The only true deadline is the one you accept. So dust off that abandoned dream or invent a new one. Sign up for that class, book that trip, start that project, not despite your age, because of it. After all, you've earned the right to do things purely because they light you up. The world needs late bloomers. They're the ones who prove that time isn't running out. It's opening up. Fifth, welcoming change as an ally. Change used to sneak up on us slowly. A few gray hairs over years, grandchildren growing in spurts we'd notice at holidays. But these days, it can feel like the world is shifting overnight. New technologies, different norms, even the way our own bodies move through the world. It's enough to make anyone dig in their heels and think, I liked things better before. Yet here's the paradox. The more we resist change, the more it exhausts us. That frustration with smartphones? It drains energy that could go toward learning just one helpful feature. The annoyance at modern music? It drowns out the new songs we might actually enjoy. Even resisting our own aging, fighting every wrinkle or ache, often makes the journey harder than it needs to be. But what if we approached change like we do the seasons? We don't begrudge autumn for turning leaves gold or winter for bringing quiet. We adapt. Warmer clothes, heartier meals, different rhythms. Life's changes ask the same of us, not surrender, but savvy adjustment. Try this mindset. Instead of "I can't keep up," try "What part of this could make my life easier?" Rather than "This isn't how we did it," ask "What's interesting about this new way?" Replace "I'm too set in my ways" with "I've adapted before, I can choose what to embrace now." Remember when you switched from a rotary phone to push button, or from handwritten letters to email? You've already navigated dozens of seismic shifts. This time, you've got an advantage: the wisdom to know which changes truly matter, learning video calls to see faraway grandkids, and which to ignore, every fleeting social media trend. The secret isn't staying current, it's staying curious. Keep one toe in the new while staying rooted in what serves you. That balance? It's not just survival, it's how we discover unexpected joys. The ebook reader that lets you enlarge text, the video recipe that teaches croissants step by step, the meditation app that eases sleepless nights. Change will happen with or without our permission. But when we meet it as a companion rather than an adversary, we reclaim our power, not to stop the tide, but to ride it with grace. After all, you didn't come this far only to be left behind. You came this far to lead the way. Sixth, the freedom in letting go of comparisons. You know that feeling. You're sitting with your morning coffee, flipping through photos of old friends on their latest European tour, or seeing yet another announcement about someone's grandchild graduating with honors. And without meaning to, you start tallying up your own life against theirs. Should I be traveling more? Why don't my grandchildren call as often? But here's what we forget in those moments. Every life unfolds at its own pace, in its own way. That couple posting sunset beach photos? They might be scrolling through your pictures thinking, "I wish we had roots like they do." The friend who seems to have it all together? They have their own quiet struggles they'll never post about. And the truth is, comparison doesn't just steal our joy. It blinds us to the beauty of our own unique path. That small garden you tend with such care, it's a masterpiece of patience. The way your grandchildren light up when you tell them stories, that's a gift no passport stamp can match. The quiet wisdom you've earned through decades of living, that can't be bought or faked. Think back to your parents' or grandparents' generation. They didn't have social media constantly showing them polished versions of other people's lives. They measured their days by the seasons, by family gathered around the table, by small victories and hard-won peace. There was a freedom in that. So the next time you catch yourself measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel, try this. Put down the phone, step outside, breathe in the air, look around at what's real, the home you've built, the people who love you, the simple pleasures that make your days meaningful. That's your life, not a competition, not a performance, but a one-of-a-kind story that's still being written. And here's the best part. The less you compare, the lighter you feel. The less you worry about keeping up, the more energy you have for what truly matters to you. Because at the end of the day, the only life you need to live is your own. Exactly as it is, wrinkles, quirks, and all. Seventh, becoming your own best friend. Remember how your mother's voice could calm you with just a few words when you were small? Or how a dear friend knows exactly what to say when you're feeling low? There's a reason those moments stick with us. Kindness sinks in deeper than criticism ever could. Yet so many of us spend our days speaking to ourselves in ways we'd never tolerate from others. That critical inner voice, the one that nitpicks your appearance, second-guesses your decisions, or scolds you for small mistakes, doesn't actually make you stronger or wiser. It just makes everything feel heavier. Think about it. When has beating yourself up ever truly helped? More often, it just leaves you feeling tired and small, less likely to try new things or enjoy the day ahead. But here's the beautiful thing. You get to choose which voice to listen to. The one that says, "You're too old for this," or the one that whispers, "Why not give it a try?" The one that focuses on wrinkles, or the one that sees a face rich with stories? The voice that says, "You should have done better," or the one that understands you did your best with what you knew at the time? This isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about meeting yourself where you are, with patience, with humor, with the hard-won wisdom that comes from knowing storms pass and joy returns. When you drop something, instead of "clumsy old fool," try, "Well, that's today's excitement handled." When you forget a name, rather than "My memory's gone," perhaps, "This brain's so full of wonderful memories, sometimes they get cozy and hard to find." The way we speak to ourselves shapes our days more than we realize. And after all these years of caring for others, building lives, weathering changes, you deserve kindness most of all. Not just from others, but from that most constant companion, yourself. Because no one will ever know your heart the way you do, or have more opportunities to offer it comfort. Eighth, the liberating art of letting go of control. There was a time when keeping everything under control probably felt necessary. Raising children, managing a household, meeting work demands. But somewhere along the way, we often confuse being responsible with needing to control everything. Now, as life changes around us, that old habit can become exhausting rather than empowering. Think about how nature works. Trees don't fight their leaves falling in autumn, rivers don't resist changing course, and seasons don't insist on staying past their time. There's wisdom in that natural flow, especially now. When we try to micromanage every detail, our health, our family's choices, even the weather, we spend our days tense and frustrated rather than present and peaceful. This doesn't mean giving up on what matters. It means distinguishing between what we can influence and what we must release. You can take your medications on time without obsessing over every fluctuation in your blood pressure. You can offer advice to loved ones without needing them to follow it exactly. You can plan a picnic without stressing over clouds that may or may not appear. Try this small shift. Each morning, identify one thing you'll approach with openness rather than control. Maybe it's allowing a conversation to wander without steering it. Perhaps it's trying a new route on your walk, just to see where it leads. Or it could be as simple as leaving an afternoon unscheduled, letting the day unfold as it will. Notice what happens when you loosen your grip slightly. Often the world doesn't fall apart, it surprises you. A missed appointment becomes unexpected time to read. A changed plan introduces you to someone interesting. A minor mishap turns into a story worth telling. This is the paradox. By releasing our tight hold on how things should be, we often find more joy in how they are. Not passive, but present. Not careless, but free. After a lifetime of responsibility, you've earned the right to sometimes simply let life carry you. Ninth, the courage to be vulnerably yourself. All those years of being the strong one, the parent who had answers, the employee who met every deadline, the rock everyone leaned on, taught us to armor up well. But here's what no one tells you about getting older. Real strength isn't in never needing help. It's in having the courage to ask for it. That stiff upper lip that served you well for decades? Sometimes it just isolates you now. When you pretend everything's fine through aches or loneliness or grief, you don't actually spare anyone. You just make your world smaller. The moments that truly connect us aren't our triumphs, but our honest me toos and "I'm struggling with this"s. Think about the last time someone trusted you with their vulnerability. Didn't it make you feel closer to them? Didn't it honor your own capacity for compassion? That's the gift your vulnerability gives others. Permission to be human alongside you. Start small. Swap "I'm fine" for "today's been tough" with someone safe. Let the pharmacist see you struggling with the bottle cap instead of pretending. Admit at your book club that the character's loss reminded you of your own. This isn't about oversharing or burdening others. It's about trading the heavy armor of "I've got this" for the lighter truth of "we've got each other." Because here's the secret no one tells you in youth. Being cared for isn't weakness. It's how love circulates. Those laugh lines around your eyes, they prove you've known joy. The way your voice sometimes catches when you speak of loved ones gone, that's not a flaw. It's evidence of how deeply you've loved. These aren't things to hide. They're the very things that make you beautifully, irresistibly real. 10th, releasing the fear of being a burden. That nagging worry, "I don't want to trouble anyone," has likely stopped you from asking for help more times than you can count. But let's question something fundamental. When did simply needing another human being become something to apologize for? Think back. How many meals have you cooked for others? How many drives given, advice offered, or quiet moments of presence shared? You never once thought those you helped were burdens. You probably felt grateful to be useful, to matter in someone's life. Why assume others feel differently about you? The math is simple but profound. If you believe it's noble to help others, then you must believe it's noble for others to help you. Otherwise, you're declaring yourself uniquely unworthy of the very care you so freely give. And that's not humility. It's a distortion of how love actually works. Try this reframe. When you resist asking your daughter for a ride to the doctor, you deny her the joy of repaying your lifetime of care. When you hide your struggles from friends, you rob them of the chance to feel needed. Receiving help isn't taking, it's completing the circle. Start practicing with small asks. Would you read the fine print on this form? Your eyes are better. I'd love your company while I try this new walking path. Can we sit together a while? The house feels quiet today. Notice what happens. Most often, people light up at being trusted and needed. And when someone does seem inconvenienced, that's their issue to manage, not yours to preemptively avoid. You spent decades carrying others. Now is the time to learn the equally vital skill of letting yourself be carried sometimes. Not because you've diminished, but because you finally understand allowing help isn't weakness. It's how we remain woven into the fabric of each other's lives. 11th, the timeless art of friendship without borders. Remember your first childhood friend, the one you bonded with over shared cookies or a favorite game, never once considering whether they were too old or too young to matter. Somewhere along the way, we absorbed this strange idea that friendships should come with age restrictions. But the truth is, friendship speaks a language that doesn't care about birth years. That young neighbor who chats with you about gardening, they're gaining wisdom while you rediscover wonder. The fellow retiree who just joined your community, they understand this chapter in ways your lifelong friends might not. Even the teenager who helps with your phone reminds you how much the world still has to teach you, and how much you have to offer in return. Think about what gets unlocked when we stop filtering potential friends through age. The young coworker introduces you to new music that surprisingly moves you. The middle-aged book club member asks about your memories of historical events they only read about. The fellow senior at the community center shares a perspective that cracks open a problem you've been carrying. These cross-generational connections aren't just nice, they're vital. They keep your worldview flexible, your laughter fresh, your heart engaged with life's full spectrum. When we only socialize with our exact peers, we miss half the conversation. So next time you hesitate before saying yes to that invitation from your nephew's artsy friend, coffee with the new retiree in your building, the community college's intergenerational writing workshop, remember, every meaningful friend was once a stranger. Every inspiring connection started with someone brave enough to say, "Tell me your story." Your next great friend might be waiting in the unlikeliest of places, if you'll let them in. 13, the radical permission to prioritize yourself. How many times have you put yourself last on your own to-do list? Deferred your needs until everyone else was taken care first? There's nobility in this, of course, but somewhere along the line, we confused self-neglect with virtue. Here's the truth they should teach in schools. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and refusing to refill yours isn't sacrifice, it's slow depletion. That afternoon, nap you feel guilty taking? It's not laziness, it's recalibration. The money spent on that comfortable chair or good walking shoes, not indulgence, investment. The hours you spend painting or gardening or simply sitting with your thoughts, not wasted time, they're what make the rest of your time worth living. Consider this. When you were raising children, you understood they needed proper food, rest, and joy to thrive. Why would your own needs be different now? On airplanes, they tell you to secure your own oxygen mask first, not because you matter more, but because you can't help others if you're gasping for air. The people who truly love you don't want your exhaustion. They want you whole. Start small, but start today. Say no to one thing that drains you to make space for what nourishes you. Treat your need for rest as legitimate rather than something to earn. When guilt whispers, "This is selfish," reply, "This is sustainable." This isn't about ceasing to care for others. It's about remembering you're someone who deserves care too. Not just so you can keep giving, but because your comfort, your peace, your joy matter. Full stop. After a lifetime of putting others first, you've earned the right to finally tie your own oxygen mask securely. 14. Breaking free from society's script. They told you life came with a roadmap: school, job, marriage, children, retirement. But here's what nobody mentions. That roadmap was never meant to be followed blindly, especially not in these golden years when you've earned the right to wander off the path completely. Think about all the shoulds you've carried like heavy baggage. I should want to babysit my grandchildren every weekend. I should be content with puttering around the house. I should dress, act, think a certain way at my age. What if you gave yourself permission to return that baggage unopened? The beautiful truth is this: there are no rules now except the ones you choose to keep. That couple selling everything to live in an RV at 70? They're not reckless, they're rewriting the script. The widow who started dating again at 75? She's not being inappropriate. She's claiming her right to joy. The retiree who wears bright purple hair and takes hip-hop classes. He's not acting young. He's simply being fully himself. This is your liberation moment. Try the hobby that seems silly for someone your age. Ignore raised eyebrows when you pursue an unexpected romance. Redefine what productive means on your own terms. Society's molds were made by people who don't know your heart. These years are your blank canvas, not to paint what others expect, but to finally create the picture you've always imagined. After decades of meeting expectations, you get to ask the revolutionary question, what do I actually want? The most radical thing you can do now is to live as proof that aging doesn't mean shrinking. It means expanding into who you were always meant to be. 15. Why your best years are still unfolding. That persistent whisper, "My best days are behind me," is the cruelest lie we tell ourselves. It ignores the breathtaking truth. Right now, at this very moment, you possess something your younger self ached for: complete permission to be yourself. Think back to your 20s. However vibrant those years seemed, they were also tangled in uncertainty about career paths, relationships, who you were meant to become. Now, you hold the hard-won wisdom of someone who's navigated storms and knows their own strength. Those laugh lines? They're proof you found joy. That slower pace? It lets you savor what you once rushed past. Consider what only now becomes possible. Pursuing passions purely for pleasure, not prestige. Speaking your mind without fearing consequences. Loving people not because you need them, but because you choose to. Waking up to days you design entirely for your own fulfillment. That woman who published her first novel at 80? She had a lifetime of stories to tell. The man who learned piano at 75? His fingers may be stiffer, but his appreciation runs deeper. The friends who fell in love at 70 after losing spouses? They know love isn't less precious for coming later. This isn't about denying aging's challenges, but refusing to let them define your entire story. Your past wasn't the highlight reel, it was the preparation. All those experiences, good and bad, have sharpened your ability to wring every drop of meaning from the present. So when nostalgia tries to convince you that happiness peaked decades ago, gently correct it. No, my friend, I'm just getting started. The best chapters aren't behind you, they're the ones you begin writing today. As we come to the end of our conversation, I want to leave you with this image. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast landscape, one you've spent decades carefully mapping. The trails you've walked are still there behind you, but what stretches ahead isn't empty space. It's an open horizon glowing with possibility. waiting only for you to take the first step. Every insight we've shared about releasing regrets, embracing imperfection, defying expectations, isn't separate advice. They're all facets of the same brilliant truth. Aging isn't about winding down. It's about waking up to freedoms you've never had before. The regrets you've released, they've lightened your pack for the journey ahead. The self-kindness you're practicing, it's becoming the compass for new adventures. The societal rules you're ignoring, they've made space for your authentic voice to finally sing. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, try this. Before your feet touch the floor, whisper to yourself, "What beautiful thing will I discover about myself today?" Not yesterday's version of you, not some idealized future you, but the extraordinary person you are right now. Because this moment, this breath, this realization that you're still becoming, is the gift only time can give. Your story isn't fading. My friend, it's just getting good.